What if reality is a self-configuring and self-processing system? Hey, welcome to Sacred Whispers. Today, we're diving into a concept that could change the way you see everything around you. The idea that reality itself might be a self-configuring, self-processing system. Imagine if the universe were not just a collection of random events, but a living, breathing language that writes itself. Sounds wild, right? Now stick with me because we're going to break this down step by step. If you've ever wondered if there's more to life than meets the eye, you might just be onto something. What if everything from your thoughts to the stars in the sky was part of a grand self-evolving story? By the end of this video, you'll understand how reality itself could be a living, conscious force, constantly shaping and reshaping its own existence. So, let's begin. Understanding the CTMU, Cognitive-Theoretic Model of the Universe. The theory we're discussing today comes from something called the CTMU, which stands for Cognitive-Theoretic Model of the Universe. This model was proposed by the scientist and philosopher Christopher Langan. At its core, the CTMU is a bold idea. It proposes that the universe is a self-contained, self-referential system. It's self-contained because it doesn't rely on anything outside of itself to exist. It's self-referential because it can observe, process, and evolve based on its own structure. Now imagine a book that doesn't need an author. Instead of an external being writing the plot, the book writes itself, creating its own characters, events, and even the rules that govern the story. This is how the CTMU sees reality, as a self-configuring language that's constantly creating itself. But what does that mean for us? And for everything we experience, what does self-configuring mean? Let's break this idea of self-configuring down. We're going to use a simple analogy to make it clearer. Think of a game like Minecraft, where you can create your own world. You design the rules, the structures, and even the environment. Now imagine that the game itself can build and redesign the world without any outside player telling it what to do. It creates its own rules, its own terrain, and its own progress. In the same way, self-configuration means that the universe has the ability to define its own structure without any external force or creator. No one is pushing the universe along. It's creating its own rules, systems, and possibilities. Everything from atoms to galaxies emerges from this internal process of self-organization. The beauty of this idea is that reality is not fixed. It's not something that just is. Instead, it's something that becomes, it's constantly evolving, and it's doing so in a way that's in harmony with itself. It's a self-organizing, self-regulating, ever-evolving force. Everything you see, from the tiniest particle to the largest galaxy, is part of this process of self-definition. What does self-processing mean? Next, we have self-processing. To understand this, let's dive into the analogy of a computer program. Imagine you have a computer program that runs by itself. It doesn't need a person to press a button or tell it what to do. It just keeps processing information, making decisions, and updating itself automatically. In the context of the universe, self-processing means that reality is like a program that runs on its own logic and continually evolves. Just as a computer processes data, reality is processing itself. Every second, every moment, reality takes in information about its own state, processes it, and adapts accordingly. For example, let's think about how a plant grows. It doesn't need someone telling it how to grow. Its own internal programming determines how it interacts with sunlight, soil, and water. Similarly, reality itself processes information and adapts in ways we may not even be aware of, but the system is always adjusting to ensure that everything functions as it should. In essence, the universe is both the program and the processor. It creates and processes the code that governs its existence. Every law of nature, every principle we understand is part of this ongoing self-processing loop. The universe is a living language. Now let's explore the concept of reality as a self-configuring, self-processing language, SESPL. Imagine you have a book, but this book is special. Instead of just telling a story, it's also capable of writing its own story in real time. It changes its structure, updates its plot, and evolves with every page that's turned. This is what reality is like under the CTMU framework. Reality, as an SCSPL, functions much like a language that's capable of describing itself while simultaneously evolving. A language doesn't just describe things, it also shapes how we understand the world around us. Similarly, reality doesn't just exist in one fixed way. It's like a living language, adapting to describe and define its own future. Just like how we evolve language to better communicate new ideas, the universe evolves its own language of existence, constantly rewriting itself and improving over time. It's as if the universe has an infinite vocabulary, constantly updating and expanding to allow for more complexity and deeper meaning. Why does this matter? What does this mean for us? Now that we understand the nuts and bolts of this concept, let's zoom out a bit. Why should we care about this idea of a self-configuring and self-processing universe? What does it mean for us, living inside this reality? First, think about the interconnectedness of everything. If the universe is self-configuring, then all things are part of this ongoing creation process. Every action, every thought, and every experience you have is not just a random event, it's part of a larger story. Your choices, your thoughts, and your experiences play a role in shaping the ongoing evolution of reality. If reality is constantly processing itself, then our lives are intertwined with this grand process. We are not just passive observers, we are participants in the ongoing creation of the universe, shaping and defining the world around us in ways we may not even fully understand. Every time you think, every time you act, you're contributing to the universe's evolution. The infinite feedback loop. Here's where it gets truly cosmic, the feedback loop. Imagine reality as a mirror reflecting itself. The feedback loop means that the universe is constantly observing itself and evolving based on that observation. It's like a self-aware system that takes in information, processes it, and uses that to change its own future. This isn't a one-time thing, it's an infinite process. Every moment the universe processes information, it evolves in new and unexpected ways. It's an eternal cycle of self-awareness, like an endless spiral that constantly feeds into itself. This means that reality is not a static, fixed thing. It's a dynamic, living process, constantly shifting, adjusting, and creating. And because we're part of this reality, we're part of this never-ending feedback loop. Every thought you have, every decision you make adds another layer to this cosmic process. Final thoughts and reflection. So, where does this all leave us? If the universe is a self-configuring, self-processing language, then we live in a world of infinite possibilities. The story of the universe is not fixed. It's being written moment by everything in it, including us. We're not just witnesses to the unfolding story, we're co-authors. By understanding this concept, we begin to see ourselves as participants in a much larger process, a cosmic dance of creation, evolution, and awareness. Every thought, action, and choice is part of the language of existence, helping to shape and create the universe as it continues to evolve. So the next time you look at the world around you, remember, it's not just a pass-i backdrop to your life. It's a living, breathing process that's constantly evolving, and you're a crucial part of that evolution. Thanks for watching. If this video opened your mind to new possibilities about reality, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Join us on this incredible journey of spiritual mysticism and the unknown exploration here on Sacred Whispers.